And we had a chance to catch up with Congressman Keith Self. He has a rich military history. Take a look at what he had to say, especially when it comes to the confirmation of Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense.
So you have quite a history behind you. West Point graduate, 25 years of service in the armed forces, climbing in rank the entire way. And then you went on to be a judge in your county in Texas. What was it that motivated you or brought you here to serve in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I was happily retired for 3 years after I retired from the county judge position. And a group of people came to me after 3 years and said, you need to run for this position. So I considered it and did, and it's a long story, but here I am. And so it was, and frankly, almost after the fact, I realized how important it is to be here at this point in time, at this point in American history, at this point where we are so close to a tipping point as a nation.
And then so goes the world, because so many rely on America, and our economy staying strong is important around the world because now we have a global economy. And you see all these things, but you, like President Trump, you could be enjoying your retirement. You're here serving the country. There's a lot of contentious battles that happen. Nonetheless, you have been able to make great strides since you've been here, and named chairman, for example, of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Europe, a place where you served. What do you hope to bring to the table in that new position?
First of all, you forgot to say Texas. As goes Texas, so goes the United States, so goes the world.
Very true.
So Texas is a vital part of what we do here. What I hope to bring to the subcommittee is a realization that Europe is still important to the United States. There has been some doubt about that. In fact, I think on both sides of the Atlantic. But Europe and the United States still are major economies. The EU economy is not equal to the US economy, but it is more than the surrounding adversaries. And frankly, we need Europe. Europe needs us. We're doing that now in the energy business. We're supplying a lot of the energy to Europe today. In fact, they survived that first tough winter after the Ukraine invasion because of American energy. And so that's what I hope to bring, that we need to reestablish our alliances with Europe. We need to encourage the conservative movement that's happening in Europe today.
Yes.
And we need to make sure that our alliances stay strong with Europe, because frankly, that's the Western world, or as Churchill referred to it, as Christian civilization. So I'm very honored and look forward to my time as chairman.
It's interesting. You brought up before that the timing is so critical. God's timing is everything. And I know that you are a man of faith. How do you rely on your faith when things get difficult here? Because it's not an easy atmosphere to make progress in.
Well, as I tell my staff occasionally, no one is dying here. If you keep that fact in mind, and then the other fact that we have on the wall out there, or we will have on the wall as soon as we get it up, our job is to do the work and to leave the results to God, because we have limited ability to truly impact what's around us. Now, we do our work and we impact as much as we can, but we also don't often see the total picture. We see our piece of it, but the total picture is much bigger than what we're doing. We do the work and we leave the results to God and trust that everything works out for His glory.
Yes, it's just one piece of a broad puzzle that He sees.
That's right.
See that tiny piece.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about your meeting with Pete Hegseth. How did that go? And then what are your thoughts on his nomination? How do you think that's going to result?
Well, I've never really had a meeting with Pete Hegseth. I met him at the club, the Capitol Hill Club, when he was finishing a meeting on air power, and we took a picture with him. And I had to remind him, as part of a group, that air power doesn't win wars. You have to hold the ground. And so I didn't want the air power guys to make too much of a big deal of air power.
Do you like the fact that he has served, and how do you think that that will help with recruitment going forward, which has been very low? It's sad to see how few people are signing up to join the armed forces. Do you think a man like Pete Hegseth in that position of defense secretary maybe will ignite maybe a wave of people signing up to join the armed forces?
I think it will definitely help. First of all, young men and women today want to serve something greater than themselves. They want something worthy of their sacrifice. They don't see that in the military today. They see the pronouns, they see the DEI, the wokeness. Pete Hegseth is going to change that because he's been there, he's done that, and frankly, that's what young people want to see. What am I aspiring to? They haven't seen something that they want to aspire to in the past. They will today. It will make a huge difference.
And with the commander-in-chief as President Donald J. Trump, how do you think that will help?
I think that people will see America as something, as our source of pride again, as opposed to the apology tour that we've been subjected to now for, I guess, more than 8 years. Yeah. So once again, America will be seen as the stalwart across the world, the beacon of freedom, not just an economic, what can I get from you, but for our own citizens, a beacon of hope and freedom that will stand for the entire world. That's going to be the difference under Donald J. Trump. When we say America first, it's not racist. It is frankly the pride of what we have built here over 250 years. And that's what's going to be restored, is the pride that we truly are the beacon of hope and liberty around the world. And that's what's going to be restored. We haven't seen that for a while. Yeah, President Trump 45 slowed it down some, but the other 12 years around that 16-year package were really tough years for Americans. That's going to change.
What would your message be to the American people, knowing that you have a Republican House, a Republican Senate, and of course, Donald Trump at the helm? What is your message? Because a lot of people are still kind of digesting the fact that he won. How successful do you think his administration will be, especially what he has planned for the first 100 days?
This will still be what Sam Adams, the founder Sam Adams, called the animating contest of freedom. That will not change. Congress will still have fights on our hands. We will still have disagreements. We still have people who will not support the Trump agenda. This is why we are here, though, to support the Trump agenda with every fiber of our being so that we can restore the idea of freedom, freedom of economy, freedom of thought, freedom of conscience. And I believe that is a fight worth having.
What does the phrase, "don't mess with Texas," what's the first thing that comes to mind when someone says, "don't mess with Texas"?
We hold a high ground in so many areas. We have an economy that is second to none. We control the dominant energy sources of America today. We have some of the most powerful military bases in America today. We have bounty in terms of our agricultural lands. We have people who believe in freedom, who believe in the human spirit, who believe in entrepreneurship. The package that Texas brings is really hard to beat. So when you look at our economy, now the seventh largest in the world, we have everything it takes to be great.
And great leadership. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.